All right, tips and tricks. Everybody loves the tips and tricks. So what I'm going to talk about, and I'll show you some actual demos. So I'll go through this, and this will be sent out, so you can have screenshots of things, but I'll go through these each one of them to show you in GP. So setting multiple default purchase accounts, reminders and queues, opening batch from transaction window, open receivable and payable transaction. We'll go through that. Creating a shortcut for GP window. And then I found buttons and windows elements. I found something on there I thought was kind of fun, so I thought I'd share that with you guys. So through my presentation here, it's kind of going through the screens that we'll talk about, so that you guys will know. But I wanted to show you within GP as well, just so you guys knew this. So I'll kind of go through these things individually. So I will, and I can do that. I'm going to open GP here. So look, so I have it open. So I'm going to go to, first I'm going to go to Payables. I know one back there has done this for their vendors. You can add, you have like certain accounts that you only want a vendor to have, and you can have that picked. We can do this ACE, as you see with ACE Travel. I only want specific accounts. There's like 4 or 5 accounts that I have that I want them to be able to pick from, but you only have space here for one. So the 400-6520. If I go, I don't know, what's this called? Little dots. Ellipse, yes. Ellipse. But if you put the other accounts here that you want, that could be, you could pick from the one that's already there on the default, or you can pick, so this purchase is here, or you could pick, I just had different departments. If you wanted them to be on your default window, you could check this, or you could just leave them blank and you can pick which one you want. So I'll go ahead and show you that. That's working okay for somebody back there, right? So we'll just do a transaction. So I'll do $1,000. I have this already set up. So my distribution is going to come up with that was my default, but I can go to my magnifying glass and I can pick the 300. It's not giving me all those accounts. It's only giving me specific accounts. So you can pick that. Diane, do you know how many you can put in there? I think there are many default accounts. Well, in the ellipse, yeah, in the ellipse button. I don't think there is either. Yeah. But you can specify a certain amount of accounts that you want only somebody to use. So good. I'm glad you like that one. Anybody have any questions with that? No? I'll just forget what I'm going to do next. Oh.
What GP version first had that? I guess what's the earliest GP version that would work on is this question.
Well, I'm on 16 right now, but I know this has been going. Yeah. 2013. I don't know if it was in 2010. Yeah. I'm just curious, does that work with the what? No, that's one of the nice features about this guy is that you can save your template. We're asking about and then just open that one up and review it. Sure. Okay. I will. All right. So next, does everybody use their home screen? Anybody use their home screen? So I put up here, I know you do. So, if you put up, you from your smart list reports, you can put reminders, to-dos, things like that. So on here, I put like a 1099 vendor without tax ID. So you could have some sort of reminder that pops up here if you don't have, I've just made a report. So if I click on this, this is on my home screen, so you can see it every day. And the criteria here is just if somebody gets a 1099 vendor gets put in without the tax number. So you can see my criteria, not a 1099, less than 0. So that's kind of how I put that on there. So that will show up. And then I save this, save your favorites. And I added it, favorite, and reminder. So when I go into here, if I go into this pencil on your to-dos, the reminders, you click in here. I did this for balance sheet and income. I put for balance sheet and income statement accounts. I'll show you that in a second. But I put it as a queue, so it's a little bigger, has a little icon on there. But for the 1099s, it will just pop up, and it's saying that there's 14 that don't have a tax ID number. Now, for the balance sheet, when you guys close, I just put on here for the balance sheet and income statement, if accidentally, when you're setting up an account, if it's in a range of what the balance sheet, it's supposed to be a balance sheet, but it's put in as a profit and loss, because that will hurt you when you're closing the year end. So I just put that in there, and you can see on my criteria, posting type I put as balance sheet. In between, it's equal to posting balance sheet, but it's in the P&L range. So I had that show up so that you can do those, and it will just come up on your home screen each month, each day if something happens, if somebody puts something in by mistake. So right now I have 22 that really should be an income statement, and I have one income statement, same thing I set up. So you can put, it just doesn't have to be this, it can be anything, anything that you guys want to track. I have past due vendors on here as well. So again, it's just a quick link to back to your reports that you can put on your home screen. Anybody have any questions? And with the queue, I put that just so I make sure I showed you that. If you hit modify, you can put the criterias in here and then display as a queue. So you can do a whole bunch just to give you a little bit. And the quick links, I always talk about those, but just give you places to put things, put some reminders, put some quick links. And while I'm talking about this, I guess I'll go to one of my other slides that's out of order. But if you're on a screen and you're always in the general transaction, you're doing journal entries all the time. If you hit file, add shortcut, if you go to your home screen again, I've already put this one on there, but there'll be 2 transaction entry. So it can be, you have your shortcuts on this side, you can have quick links down here. So lots of places for you to not to have to navigate through GP if you don't want to. So did everybody see that? So anything you're in. So if I want to go into report cards for a customer, open that up, and it's always on the file, add to shortcuts. Where are you? Customer maintenance right here. So then I can just click on it, it comes right up. So things that you have, you can put it up here on your shortcuts, you can put it on your quick links. Anybody do that? Put little quick links. On the quick links too, you can also put websites. So your bank, you can put that on there so you don't have to pull that up and it'll just take you right to it. Anybody have any questions? Also with payables, I know this has come up a few times. close all this. So you do a batch. You're doing a batch. This is a payables batch. Save it. Let's do another one. Save it. So instead of closing this and then going to your batch to post it, you can just go straight to your batch ID here, look at it, you can view it, print it, do an edit list, make sure everything looks okay. So you can do it straight here from the transaction window and view, make sure everything's looking good, and then post it from there. And so, you could close out of here, then go back to your screen, go back to your batch, any of these windows, and then post it from your payables batch or your series batch, but you could just do it straight from the transaction. And that's any of them. Questions? What else I got? So we also know that I want to make sure you guys knew that I just did this for a customer the other day, on purchasing and on receivables, you can go in, after you posted an invoice, you can't change anything except a few minor things that you can go to the, and I just lost it, series, edit transaction information. So you could let's bring up somebody. So I could change the discounts, and that was what was messing up the client that I was working with, is their discount date was not showing up correctly. So we kind of fooled with this, and after the invoice was posted, we changed this and changed the discount date, and it made it come through correctly. So, but you could do this for due date. If you put the wrong due date in for your vendor, your receivable, you could go in there and change that if that's but you can do that. So that's a purchasing side, but also on the sales side, we can do that as well. So we could bring up Aaron and just pick an invoice, and we can, let's see what Aaron's got. So discount date's 9/6. If we have a discount on there, we can change that if we put it in wrong, if it's not coming, this was somebody who had just got invoices imported, so we kind of had to mess with that a little bit. But then due date, we can change that as well. If you put something in wrong, description, you can change that. Any questions? I don't think I think it's just payables and purchasing is what they have those for.
Yeah, it doesn't flow through.
Yeah.
Financial module.
Yeah. There's not one for that. Yep.
It's trying to be like QuickBooks a little bit, just not there.
We have a question online. Christy asks, when I try to post that way, it tells me that I cannot, as the batch is being edited.
Where?
You have to close the
When you post, yes, you'll have to, but you can view and you can do the edit. Are we talking about the?
So this is, they have the window pulled open, they click on the hyperlink to go to the batch ID.
Yeah.
If you still have that
Window, it will not post, yeah.
Close it down first
Right.
before you can-
But you can view it. You can view all your batches and view everything, because everybody's probably, right, viewing their batches and making sure there's no errors and everything's coded correctly, right?
In a perfect world.
Right.
Could you repeat that for the microphone? really
Sure.
quick?
Should I not? What Sean said?
Yeah, I think it was the answer to that.
Okay. For Sean, I just said, and I'm sorry, I didn't explain that. When you're viewing the purchasing transaction, you would have to close, you could go to the batch to view, do an edit to make sure everything's coded right, everything, same account, there's no errors, anything like that, but you would have to close that transaction window before you actually posted it. Okay. Any questions? Any comments? Let's see, what else? I think the next time I'm going to show you guys, again, I'm going to show you, I'll have this on my But it's just, it kind of had some windows. I thought it was kind of fun that you guys, sometimes things are so little, it will show, you're not like, what is this? What will this do? One example. Oh, sorry. Yep, I'm not on. Thanks. Yeah. There you go. Sorry about that. Is that a little better? Okay. So I just thought this was fun that I could just have some of these, like for this one here, this go-to. You have these little icons that sometimes you don't know what they are. So I just thought it was kind of a fun window that you can play around with. Another one, you guys probably know the icon that has the files are attached. When you put something attached, you have your little checkbox. So I just thought it was kind of a nice, give you some information, a good quick check to know where things are, if you see something on here. But one, I'll show you. So questions? So if you go, I'll show you a couple of them in here. So if you're in like fixed assets, so up here you have your different, you're having an asset general information. If you go here, you can go to your account information. You have that little icon. You can go to your book information. So just little things like that that you can kind of play with on some of the icons for that. Let's see what else was in there. Another thing I wanted to show you guys too. If you're in a batch, if you want to, this is one of the ones. So you can kind of go back, your little buttons here, and these are in all the windows. If you go back, it'll just take you back to the different batches. If you're in this transaction, you want to see what's all involved in that batch, you can kind of use your little back arrows back here. So everybody know those, kind of play with those. Thought you were raising your hand. Yes, Sean?
And don't forget, you can change the drop down down there.
The drop down here. Yep.
It's a real easy way to find the most recent journal
Right.
transactions.
Does everybody know that? Yeah. Anybody have any questions?